Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to learn you how to make macros in World of Warcraft. I have recently made a lot of guides on World of Warcraft about classes and specs, and a lot of people is asking me how do you actually make these macros. So this is what this video is for. If you press escape on your keyboard, you will see we have different options here. Here you will find one saying macros. If you go in here, first of all, you have general macros, which is basically for your entire account. So all your different characters will be able to see all this stuff. Then you have a page which is only specifically for this character you're on. So for example, if you're making a lot of like warrior macros for this warrior I'm playing right now, you don't want to have those maybe on all your characters. So instead I brought them over here where it will be only like this one here. This is like going to be my warriors only. Then when you want to create a new macro, you press new here. You can see down here, new. And so there is a thing here that not many people know. If you pick an icon here, then it will always be that icon for the macro. Maybe you want to have like a cooler icon for your spells, then you could just replace all your spells with macros to get another icon. Though, when you point your mouse on it, it will not tell you the tips in the right corner of your screen what it's about. So, but if you pick the question mark here, it's actually gonna show you the spell that you're about to use if you write in something in the macro. So in my case, I prefer the question mark. Then I have to call it something. It could be, let's say we're gonna make a macro that is for our cooldowns. For example, for the Furry Warrior, I have a burst macro for all my cooldowns. So we're gonna call it burst and just okay. Now you'll see here I have a question mark here and it's called burst. Then what you have to do is you need to drag it down on your action bars. Literally just drag it down wherever you want it. Like you could have it like here, there. Now you can see we have burst. But now you ask, okay, but it's still a question mark, and when I press it, nothing happens. What now? The first thing we do is we write show tooltip. And just so you can actually see what I'm doing, let me just zoom in on the game. So we're gonna put it in the middle. Actually, let's put it there. We're gonna zoom in on the game a little bit, like this. That was too much. Like this. Perfect. Now you can see I have written in show tooltip. What that does is it basically shows you the spell that it next time is about to use. Whichever spell that you have like set that it should use. For example, now we can make a new line, press enter, /cast, and then open up your spell book. And inside here, you can then click after the space, hold down shift, and press on, for example, that could be avatar. Then you can see it automatically puts in the name for you. Make a new line, /cast, and then go to my next cooldown, which in this case here would be recklessness. So I'll hold down shift again, click on it, and boom. You could also just write it, but sometimes you make like a mistake when you're writing or something like that, and then you mess up the entire stuff. To finish my burst macro, I'm gonna do one more because I'm playing an orc which has blood fury, which is giving me insane amount of additional attack power. So I'm gonna again write cast and just move it out here, and then blood fury, again holding down shift, clicking on it, and now you can see it's technically using 3 spells. Now when I close the macro, you can see now that my macro, I need to get back my screen, there we go. Now you can see here that my macro, which is called burst, is now having a spell on, and I can actually see in the right side what the spell does. So what happens when I click on this macro is that it would use my avatar, recklessness, and blood fury. Keep in mind you cannot do this with all spells because some spells, like for example, if I use a battle shout, you can see my spells kind of like, start a global cooldown. That means I'm not able to macro that with another spell that is also using a global cooldown because they were like waiting, you can only cast one spell with a global cooldown together with another spell. But my burst cooldowns here, they don't trigger a global cooldown for other spells, which is why I can use all my 3 spells at the same time. The same with Blood Fury, that one doesn't trigger as well. So now, let's test it. If I press Q now, I'm supposed to get 3 buffs on me. Let's try it. Boom. Now I got Avatar, Recklessness, and Blood Fury. All of them in one go. So that is super cool. So when you actually are supposed to go in and start your rotation and so on, so on, so on, you just press your cooldown one time and it uses all of them. So it just fits very well, and in this way here you could technically remove some of your other spells. In this case I still want to keep Recklessness because it has a shorter cooldown because of this this talent here, which yeah, another point. Now a lot of people has also been asking me, what about the cooldowns we have that you're supposed to cast with? So if I relog, for example, to which one was it? It was the mage. Yeah, the mage. There we go. Because the mage, we're using a cooldown. We're using a macro for channeling, so it doesn't interrupt our spells when casting. So let me just show you here. In a second. There we go. So for the mage as well, I have made a single bottom build for the arcane build. And on that one here, we have this one here called, I actually called it test. Well, it's this one here. This one is actually the one I'm supposed to use. That one, SBA. So what I basically have set in front of us. So I clicked new, I chose the question mark, I called it SBA. I wrote in show tooltip, and I wrote in cast. And normally I would just have written in cast, and then the funny thing is you cannot click on the single button here. If you hold down shift, that doesn't work. You actually need to write single dash button space assistant. Like that. You actually have to write that yourself. But as you can see in front of my macro here, I am writing, I don't know what these is called in English, since I'm not native English, but you can see here, these ones here, the bracket start, no channeling, bracket end. Basically what that does is that it doesn't use my spell again if I am channeling a spell. So for example, if I play Shadow Priest, Arcane Mage, any class of the game that is channeling a spell, I don't want it to interrupt, because the single button assistant doesn't care if you're pressing it, it will interrupt whatever you're channeling. But this one here makes sure that I'm not channeling it. So as you can see here now, when I use my rotation, if we get to a point where it's about to use arcane missiles, come on, give me a stack of arcane missile. Clear casting it's called. There we go. So now you can see it. Now my spell actually became that question mark again, because it's not allowed to cast it while it is actually, it's not allowed to cast it while it's channeling a spell. The same you could use on your monk when, for example, if you're playing a monk, and if you have a what is called the one you're spinning crane kick or whatever it's called, you could probably use on that one as well, even though sometimes spinning crane kick is so fast that you actually wouldn't be able to cancel it anyway. But yeah, so that's how you make macros. So I'm gonna send this video to everyone who's asking how to make macros. You basically, again, escape macros, make a new one, put in whatever information you need, and put it down here. And if you have been watching some of my guides for the single button assistant, you could basically go to my Discord where all my builds are, and you will be able to copy paste. For example, here I have this macro here, so I can say new, call it, this is for Fury Warrior, and then I can just paste in everything from my Discord channel where I have a Fury Warrior SBA guide room, and it will just paste in everything here. So now it will use my trinkets. You can see use 13 and 14, that's your items. It's the number 13 item, 14 item. So now it will use my trinkets automatically. It will use Avatar, Recklessness, and it will use my racials depending on what race I am. This is for trolls, orcs, and this one here is for I think that's the one Mecha orcs, if they call that, something like that. But yeah, so that's basically how you make a macro. Now you should be able to make a macro. So thanks for watching, have a great day, and if you need any single button builds, I have them, and you can always join my Discord for a chat. Thanks for watching, Peace out.